Good evening and welcome back to Sunset News. My name is Ashwin Berry. We bring you the latest news, stories, economic indicators, weather and sport every evening at 7:30 on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94. Now in the news tonight, the Namibian police reports the interception of almost 5 kilograms of heroin at the Hosea Kutako International Airport outside Windhoek on Friday at 8:10 in the evening. A 20-year-old South African national, Ludla Said Abdullaha, was arrested after scanning revealed something suspicious in his luggage. Here, Commerce Regional Police Commander Ismail Basson elaborates on their success and the damage that drugs such as this cause in Namibian society. The accused appeared in the Katutura Magistrates Court in the capital today.
It is tested, it's pure and drugs. The weight is 4,965 grams. 4,965 grams. The market is basically, I don't know, yes, there's a market because our people are going through that. Our houses are destroyed, kids are not going to school because of drugs. There is a market all over, but we cannot certainly say where it was what is the final destination. But what we say, it was detected and intercepted in Hosea Kutako International Airport. This was the different parcels. We just put it in one bag. So how many are they? There are five parcels. We then now was then put in one. That is, we need to investigate whether it's a drug mule or is now we transporting it. Somebody was supposed to pick him up, but he don't have a return ticket. He was coming to Namibia. Oh, okay. So whether he will get a ticket from here, wherever he goes, we don't know. But he was only coming to.
Now in our next story, the final stage is set for Namibia's highest court to decide whether Namibian authorities should legally recognize and extend equal rights to Namibians and their same-sex non-Namibian spouses. Lawyers for two Namibians, Johan Potgieter and Annette Saylor, both married to foreign partners who have for years been denied equal residential rights as the foreign-born spouses of heterosexual Namibians, filed their appeal at the Supreme Court last Thursday afternoon. The appeal is aimed at overturning the January dismissal by 3 High Court judges of the couple's applications to be afforded equal family and marriage recognition in Namibia. Genocide descendant David Kaiko says descendants of the Nama over Herero genocide will be left with no option but to repatriate the farms of Namibian Germans should genocide negotiations prove difficult. Speaking at a press conference on Saturday, Kaiko said, "We want to appeal to the German government not to provoke us because we know where our farms are. They are in the hands of their kith and kin. We equally want to appeal to Namibians of German descent to talk to the German government." He added, "We want to make it clear here today that the continuation of our harmonious relationship will largely depend on how the German government treats our just cause. Our cause is for restorative justice," he added.
My name is Monica Kasher from the San community from North Ice. I'm from Maheke region. I'm here to talk about my people, my San people, community people, how they are being treated, and we want to let the world know what we are going through. Yeah. And I'm also here with my chief. He's also going to tell you what is also happening around our community. Chief.
Yeah, on our San community, there's a lot of the problems. What I find it out because I move around in the regions and see what happens in the regions. And one point what for me does the big one is the life of the San community. It's not good between the government and us. Us cannot stay like that. Us is not the sleeps. As it's not the dogs. Let the government ministers of the serve the government officers in the office, police office or wherever. Governor also must respect for the San communities and give the jobs the San communities respect like their own tribes. He must respect it because this land is belong to the San community.
And I'm also going to be handing a petition on the 15th of February. I want to let all my people know, all my San people, to let them know that I'm handing a petition to the government, to the parliament, so they can look through to the petition, because I think it's not unfair that the heroes don't want us in this German thing. So we want to be a part of.
Now, in the next story, the agriculture sector has remained resilient amidst existing and COVID-19 challenges, expanding by 5.9% in the third quarter of last year, compared to the contraction of 7.1% during the same period in 2020. According to Agribank's monthly market watch for January, the growth can be attributed to improved land for crop cultivation that posted a double-digit growth of 11.6% and a recovery in livestock farming at 4.6% in the third quarter of last year. It said this year is expected to be better as livestock marketing improves on the back of better grazing coupled with better rainfall benefiting the crop and agronomy industries. Vice President Nangolo Mbumba hosted the 40th COVID-19 briefing this afternoon and gave an update about the national response measures. This is the first time that Mbumba gave the briefing instead of the Namibian President Hage Geingob, who is currently attending various political engagements in Europe. The so-called Squatters' Proclamation of 1985, which has been a bone of contention in Namibian society for decades, is to be resubmitted to the Namibian High Court to clarify the legality of the proclamation. In these court proceedings, land activist Dimbulukeni Nauyoma is demanding that this law, which still comes from the apartheid era, must be declared null and void. On Friday, February 18, the parties involved will meet in the High Court to agree on the new court dates. The case has been adjourned at least 8 times since last September. Nauyoma had dragged the state and the Attorney General's office before the High Court, claiming that the proclamation was needed by the then apartheid government to deny ordinary Namibians ownership of land. Make sure you get your daily newspaper tomorrow morning and get all the latest news, the stories within the news, and so much more. Stick around for Community Talk. In today's Community Talk, Monique Adams from our office in Keetmanshoop caught up with residents and business owners about the water situation the town faced over the weekend.
Hi viewers, my name is Monique Adams and I am the South Correspondent for Namibia Media Holdings. With the water issue here in Keetmanshoop that was resolved as the water came back to residents here around 5 o'clock yesterday, some parts in Keetmanshoop, like the Tseplag location, has not yet received water. We spoke to a few business owners and residents living in the location to ask how not having water for almost 2 days affected them, their lifestyle and their businesses. And this is what they had to say. We spoke to the 25-year-old Christine Ralford, who is the owner of Barrel House here in Keetmanshoop.
Hi, good morning. You are at the Barrel House. I'm Christine Radford. The last 2 days in Keetmanshoop we almost had no water. We basically had no water. How it affected our businesses, I think every business felt it differently, depending on how much water you need and how much sanitation you need. Our business, it definitely affected our business, but we made the most of it. We tried to do all the things that we could that we don't need the water for. We kept everyone busy with other things that we didn't have else time for. We did not serve any food while there was no water, so it really did affect us. But we look on the bright side, we have water again, so cheers.
But community members here in the Tseplachte location in Keetmanshoop still does not have water. They go to the municipal office in Tseplachte to tap water for their homes.
Goeiemôre, ek is Kevin Swarboy. Ek wil net vra oor die waterstorie wat nou hier aangaan, dat die hele ander lokasies nou water gekry het en ons hier in Tseplachte, wat hulle nou noem na my lokasie, nog nie water gekry het nie. Ek wil nou weet wat het nou daar gebeur. Nee, ons het sommer die hele afgelope 2 dae het ons baie gesukkel met water. Ons het hier geskep, ons het daar geskep, die plekjies wat nou en dan so watertjies gehad het. Gisterand toe moet ek by Katlike Action 'n paar kannetjies gaan geskep het. Waar hulle maar ook nie wil gehad het, ons moet skep nie. Ek ken nou van die hele ander lokasies wat water het. Het is nog net ons wat die water het op die lokasie.
Public Relations Officer of the Municipality of Keetmanshoop, Don Creer, says that some houses don't have water because of where they are laid, and the water might take longer to reach their homes. But the community members of Tseplachte can expect water today. Monique Adams, Keetmanshoop.
Thank you, Monique, for that essential report. Now, in our story of the day, we'll be talking about the Paradigm Initiative. More after the break.
Choose your flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in 1 bundle. It's new, it's 1 bill, and you can stay connected in more than 1 location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepare. Paratus.
Let's get into the story of the day. The Paradigm Initiative will convene digital talks with local partners, bringing together diverse audiences, providing opportunities for engaging conversations, and to make key recommendations to enhance digital rights on the continent. Yolanda Nell has more.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yolanda Nell. Digital talks will be held in Namibia to advocate for digital rights and inclusion on the continent. To enhance digital rights and combat online violations in Africa, the Paradigm Initiative will be presenting its tools of impact to enable online users to report digital rights violations in Africa, as well as address the growing need to safeguard those working with sensitive information in the Global South. According to the 2020 Londa report, the International Telecommunication Union data reveals that in 2014, 35.5 out of every 100 residents in Namibia had a mobile broadband subscription, and by 2018, the figure had risen to 59.3. The 2018 Measuring the Information Society report called Namibia one of the frontrunners in Africa on ICT development. With growing digitization, it is even more important for fundamental freedoms to be protected online as well as offline. Only 31% of Namibian public schools have access to the internet, but the country has launched a national broadband policy with a 5-year implementation action plan that seeks to achieve 95% broadband coverage by 2024 and also operationalize the Universal Access and Service Fund. In April 2020, the Namibian government enforced e-learning countrywide as a response to the pandemic. This decision has been criticized as the country has a low technology rollout, with only 31% of schools having access to the internet. A July 2020 paper by the Association for Progressive Communications has highlighted that the move imposed serious discriminatory elements to those not connected and unable to afford the internet, and interfered with the right to development and access to knowledge, a principle set out in the African Declaration on Internet Rights and Freedoms. These digital talks will take place from 15 February to the 7th of March in 10 African countries.
When you shift the paradigm, you change the narrative. Now, economic news stories will be talking about how our COVID vaccination rates are affecting our current economy. So stick around after the break.
Swiping or tapping your FNB Visa card is the safest, easiest, most rewarding way to transact. Because if you swipe your FNB Visa debit or credit card 3 times a month, you'll automatically be entered into the draw to win your share of a mammoth 250,000 Namibian dollars. Competition ends 15 February 2022. T's, C's and rules apply. Switch to FNB, Bank of the Changeables.
This is still Sunset News, and these are your economic news stories. In 2021, the International Monetary Fund proposed that the COVID-19 pandemic could end if 40% of the population got vaccinated by the end of 2021 and 70% by mid-2022. In Namibia, less than 30% of the eligible population is believed to be fully vaccinated. A recent study found that close to 15,000 jobs had been lost in the formal economy alone as a result of public health regulations that were enforced to arrest the situation. Now, according to Rusa Nandango, economist at FNB, this is a situation that should be of concern to every Namibian. Achieving a high level of vaccine coverage is not only key to ending the pandemic, but is also critical to getting economies across the world back onto an upward growth trajectory in the short term. Now, Novanam has further embedded its sustainability strategy by investing 36 million Namibian dollars in 2 photovoltaic solar projects. Against the backdrop of Namibia's poised to becoming a global player in renewable energy and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 7 for 2030, Novanam has installed solar plants in its Hake Value Addition processing plants in Luderitz and Walvish Bay, where 2,300 people are employed in the processing of an average of 100 tons of raw material daily. The Luderitz solar investment is 30 million Namibian dollars, and the photovoltaic solar park rests on a space of 3,132 square meters, including a first-of-its-kind installation on wooden mounted structures in order to manage the rough, rocky terrain ubiquitous in this isolated southern Namibian town. Let's get into your economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is up against the US, the British pound and the euro. Very little to no movement on the NSX, with all stocks holding ground. Trustco is the only stock moving upwards with 1.5%, and the overall index is also up with 0.4%. All commodities are up, with oil nearly 4% stronger. There has been bountiful rain in Namibia. We'll be talking about that and more in your weather after the break. Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Let's get into your weather story. Thunder showers continued over the Kunene and Irongo regions today, especially in the Kunene region that needs rain desperately. Footage of rivers that flowed all over the country were posted on social media. Now, according to the Namibian Meteorological Services, this weather will continue for the next few days. Let's get into your weather predictions. The northern half of Namibia is still expecting widespread showers. The coolest place in Namibia tomorrow will be Tsumeb at 14 degrees. Now, there is still cloud cover in the southern parts of Namibia, with Ariamsflay being the hottest at 39 degrees. Stick around because after the break, we'll be talking about hijabs in schools and the ongoing debate in India in your international news. Thank you for staying with Sunset News. Let's get straight into your international news story. Now, some schools reopened in the Indian state of Karnataka on Monday after closing last week when protests erupted over students being barred from wearing the hijab in class. The issue, widely seen by India's Muslim minority community as a bid to sideline it by authorities in a Hindu-dominated nation, comes as Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party prepares for elections in key states. Police stood guard as students in pink uniforms, about a dozen wearing the hijab, entered a government-girls' school where the issue first flared in the southern Indian state's district of Udupi, about 400 kilometers from the tech hub of Bengaluru. Authorities have banned gatherings of more than 5 people within 200 meters of educational institutions in the area. As classes from primary to high school began, colleges remained shut. A court in the state last week told students not to wear any religious clothing, ranging from saffron shawls worn by some Hindus to headscarves in classrooms until further notice. Last week, some schools refused entry to girls and women wearing the hijab, citing a February 5 order on uniforms by the state ruled by Modi's party. Some Muslim students and parents protested the move, drawing counter-protests from Hindu students who wore saffron shawls and shouted slogans. Now, Modi's party derives its support mainly from the majority Hindu community, which makes up about 80% of India's population of roughly 1.4 billion, while Muslims account for about 13%. Stick around, your sports after the break. We start off your sports stories with some African football. Brave Warriors and Mamelodi Sundowns' Peter Shalulile continues to top the chart in the DStv Premier League with 13 goals. Shalulile is not showing any signs of slowing down anytime soon. Sundowns take on Baroka FC on Monday evening at the old Peter Mokaba Stadium in their bid to maintain their lead at the top of the DStv Premiership. President Hage Geingob meets former Arsenal legend French international Thierry Henry in Paris, France. Geingob said Henry is one of the greatest footballers of his generation and made Arsenal football his second team in the English Premier League after Liverpool. Geingob invited Henry to visit. Now, on Wednesday, the Brave Gladiators will face Zambia in the first leg of the Africa Women Cup of Nations qualifiers. The match will be played in Lusaka, with the second leg slated for Johannesburg on the 22nd. This has been Sunset News. We understand you probably just got home from work, so stick around for your highlights after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get into today's highlights. The Namibian police reports the interception of almost 5 kilograms of heroin at the Hosea Kutako International Airport outside Windhoek on Friday at 8:10 in the evening. A 20-year-old South African national, Ludla Sayed Abdullaha, was arrested after scanning revealed something suspicious in his luggage. The final stage is set for Namibia's highest court to decide whether Namibian authorities should legally recognize and extend equal rights to Namibians and their same-sex non-Namibian spouses. Lawyers for two Namibians, Johan Potgieter and Annette Siela, both married to foreign partners who have for years been denied equal residential rights as the foreign-born spouses of heterosexual Namibians, filed their appeal at the Supreme Court last Thursday afternoon. The so-called Squatters' Proclamation of 1985, which has been a bone of contention in Namibian society for decades, is to be resubmitted to the Namibian High Court to clarify the legality of the proclamation. In these court proceedings, land activist Dimbulukeni Nauyoma is demanding that this law, which still comes from the apartheid era, must be declared null and void. On Friday, February 18, the parties involved will meet in the High Court to agree on new court dates. All right, that brings us to the end of our show. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook and all the NMH websites on weekdays as well as on oneup2.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 to 8. Have a wonderful and restful Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, please, you shouldn't end your day without us.